Bonjour à tous, merci d'être venus si nombreux à ce side event du pavillon français sur l'eau, l'énergie et la gouvernance et donc les conséquences sur le changement climatique. Voilà, je me présente Marie-Isabelle Fernandez d'EDF. On anime donc ce side event avec Christine Schumann à qui je vais laisser tout de suite la parole pour lui laisser le soin de présenter nos speakers. Alors juste un petit point, si vous souhaitez, donc la conférence va être traduite en anglais et français. Donc si vous souhaitez des audios, vous en avez à votre disposition. Merci. À toi, Christine.
Thank you very much. So my name is Kristen Schumann, and I will co-animate this or co-moderate this side event with my colleague Marie-Isabelle. And I will be speaking in English, and it will be both languages. So please, if you think you might have a problem understanding one or the other, there are translations available. So well, thank you very much for attending, and I'm very happy to welcome you to this very important side event for France, for EDF, for the French Partnership for Electricity and Water. And I think I'll just announce what we're going to do. So first of all, there will be Loïc Fauchon, the honorary president of the World Water Council, who will give us a high-level introduction to water challenges. And then we will have three presenters here by my side, who will all present on their water and energy challenges from their perspective and report on commitments taken at the World Water Forum and at the Lyon Forum and what these have meant in practical purposes. So first there will be Liu Yang, who is the director of the International Small Hydropower Association of China, and I'm sure I pronounced your name wrong, so please say it again. So he will be speaking about small hydropower challenges and what that means for governance and climate change. Then there will be Claude Naon, who is the EDF Senior Vice President for Sustainable Development, who will give the energy perspective on water challenges and water management and talk about our commitments and projects. And then there will be Martin Guéperot, Director of the Rhône, Mediterranean and Corsica Water Energy Agency, and he will give the water perspective on what energy challenges are and how he works with the energy sector and his engagement, commitments and projects. Right? And then there will be a video, because we have a third partner, and there will be a video that we will show you. I will announce it later. And at the end, there will be a wrap-up by Loïc Fauchon and Xavier Sticker, who is the ambassador delegate of the Environment France. No?
Xavier Sticker,
il vient pas? Ah oui. Mais Loïc, je te rejoins. So I will leave the floor to Loïc to begin.
Yes, but
Okay.
Excusez-moi si je vous tourne le dos. Bonsoir à tous. Good evening, good afternoon everybody. J'ai été chargé de chauffer la salle, mais il y a du travail. Donc je vais m'efforcer d'être bref, simplement de poser les termes de ce débat que nous avons commencé à Lyon, en France, il y a 6 mois, un an déjà. Le lien, enfin je vais réécrire le titre tel que j'en ai envie, le lien entre l'eau et l'énergie au service du développement humain et en même temps de la conservation de la nature. Pourquoi? Parce que, évidemment, je pense que ce n'est pas la peine qu'on s'étende trop sur ce premier point. Il faut de l'énergie pour l'eau et il faut de l'eau pour l'énergie. Je crois que tout le monde maintenant le sait à peu près. Sauf qu'il faut en assurer la réalité sur le terrain, ce qui n'est pas toujours aussi évident. Mais pourquoi faire? Jusque vers la fin du siècle précédent, nous avons vécu dans une période, depuis la révolution industrielle, où toute l'eau et toute l'énergie étaient dévolues au développement humain, à la croissance économique. Et on ne s'est pas beaucoup soucié de l'eau pour la nature. On ne s'est pas beaucoup soucié du fait qu'il fallait restituer à la nature une eau d'une qualité qui soit acceptable et utilisable pour les générations futures. Et nous avons un peu abîmé, parfois beaucoup, la nature. Et donc aujourd'hui, nous sommes conscients que les grandes questions de l'eau et de l'énergie se situent dans cette double nécessité d'un développement économique toujours nécessaire pour bien des pays où c'est la priorité, et en même temps d'une nécessité de respect, de conservation de la nature. Et c'est sur cette base-là que l'on doit ensuite évoquer quelques sujets. Jusqu'à présent, j'ai eu l'occasion de faire sourire à Lyon, mais je le dis dans toutes les interventions que je fais durant ce forum, et j'en fais plusieurs par jour, il est temps de mettre fin à un moment où depuis, enfin pas un moment, une période où depuis 15-20 ans, on annonce, je ne sais pas si on pourra le traduire ça, on annonce dans les conférences internationales qu'il y a un nexus water, energy and food. Donc je redis ici que le nexus dans le vocabulaire ancien, ça signifie la relation entre un esclave et son maître. Et il me paraît quand même déraisonnable de baser une partie de la politique de l'eau et de l'énergie sur un concept aussi dépassé et critiquable. Eh bien, à la place, il faut toujours proposer quelque chose quand on n'est pas satisfait. Alors, moi, je vous propose en anglais une Five Fingers Alliance ou une Penta Alliance pour ceux qui ont des lettres. Qu'est-ce que c'est que la Five Fingers Alliance? C'est l'idée qu'on ne peut pas isoler uniquement la question de l'alimentation grâce au progrès de l'accès à l'eau et de l'énergie, mais qu'on doit travailler en même temps pour la santé. Chaque fois que l'on fait un pas pour l'alimentation, l'accès à l'alimentation, une meilleure alimentation, on doit faire un pas pour la santé. Car bien évidemment, vous le savez, on le répète sans cesse, c'est la première cause de mortalité infantile dans le monde que le développement des maladies hydriques et notamment de la malaria, du paludisme dans sa forme la plus dure, le falciparum, dont on parle trop peu. C'est ça la première cause de mortalité des enfants avec les diarrhées infantiles. Et donc, rien ne sert de développer des politiques alimentaires, des politiques de secours ou des politiques d'autosuffisance alimentaire si ensuite on laisse les mêmes personnes qu'on a aidées pour les alimenter, si on les laisse mourir. Donc, alimentation et santé sont tout à fait liés. De même qu'on ne peut pas aujourd'hui parler seulement d'accès à l'eau si en même temps on ne parle pas de la question de l'assainissement. Et la question de l'assainissement, c'est la base de la santé. Et tout ça pourquoi? Tout ça pour aider à promouvoir l'éducation de ceux qui n'ont pas accès à l'eau et à l'assainissement, de ceux qui n'ont pas accès à l'électricité, ce sont les mêmes la plupart du temps. Ceux qui n'ont pas droit aux fondamentaux de la dignité et du droit. Mais rien ne sert d'avoir le droit si on n'a pas les moyens, si on ne met pas en œuvre les moyens pour y parvenir. Donc, Five Fingers, 5 doigts qui sont liés comme les doigts d'une main entre l'eau, l'énergie, l'alimentation, la santé et bien sûr l'éducation. Et d'ailleurs, vous l'observez dans les périodes, dans les épisodes de désastres liés à l'eau. Nous venons d'en parler pendant 2 heures dans la pièce à côté. Eh bien, l'aide est intégrée. Ce n'est pas Integrated Water Resource Management, mais l'aide est intégrée entre ces 5 questions. Entre l'aide de première urgence et la reconstruction, on fait de l'eau, on fait de l'assainissement, on fait de l'énergie, on fait bien sûr de l'aide alimentaire, de l'aide médicale et de l'aide à la reconstruction des écoles. Il n'y a pas, nous, d'opération à Marseille à laquelle nous participons dans le monde sans toujours retomber sur la reconstruction des écoles, l'accès à l'eau dans les écoles et l'accès à l'électricité. Donc je plaide ici non seulement pour le lien évident entre l'eau et l'énergie, mais également pour leur intégration dans une vision plus globale qui est celle à la fois, je le répète, du développement humain et de la conservation. Et les piliers de cette nouvelle maison qu'il y a à construire, de cette maison commune du développement économique et de la conservation de la nature, eh bien, ce sont ceux de la finance, de la gouvernance et de la connaissance. En plus, ça tombe bien, en français, ça rime. C'est plus élégant. Et l'un ne va pas sans l'autre. Ce n'est pas la peine de distinguer du financement de discuter du financement des infrastructures si en même temps on ne s'assure pas d'une gouvernance correctement équilibrée et des échanges de connaissances qui permettent à chacun autour du monde de maîtriser les techniques qui vont permettre l'accès à l'eau et à l'énergie. Voilà, j'en resterai là. Je pourrais en parler de ce sujet pendant de longues minutes. Je voulais vous dire à travers ce forum, mais à travers les périodes qui sont entre les forums, car nous travaillons plus entre ces périodes que pendant les forums eux-mêmes, qui sont le temps d'un échange accru. Aujourd'hui, les nouvelles techniques de communication nous permettent de discuter en permanence à travers le monde. Je voudrais vous dire que nous sommes là dans le socle de ce qui doit constituer le pacte pour la sécurité de l'eau, mais je pourrais dire, je devrais dire même le pacte pour la sécurité de l'eau et de l'énergie, avec 3 temps forts devant nous. Il y en a un ici, il y en a encore 3 autres devant nous. Il y a celui d'Addis Abeba qui va être le temps des exemples, notamment pour l'accès à l'eau et à l'énergie dans les zones les plus desséritées. Il va y avoir le temps, quelque part, j'allais dire, des adhésions au moment de l'Assemblée générale de l'ONU au mois de septembre, parce que pour la première fois, l'eau et l'énergie vont être reconnues comme priorité du développement. Ça n'est jamais arrivé. Nous n'y sommes jamais arrivés. Nous avons essuyé des échecs retentissants. Et là, enfin, nous avons quasiment la certitude aujourd'hui que ces 2 points essentiels pour le genre humain et la survie de la planète seront acceptés. Et puis enfin, il y a la conférence de Paris sur le climat, où nous avons lancé un appel ici pour que le fonds vert, dont on voit enfin la création, alors qu'il avait été proposé dès la conférence de Copenhague, que le fonds vert soit en bonne partie consacré à l'eau et à l'énergie, afin de permettre justement d'aller dans le sens à la fois du développement économique et de la conservation de la nature. Voilà ce que je voulais vous dire à l'ouverture de cette séance. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions or reactions from the floor whilst Loïc Fauchon is with us? No? No? All right. So I guess I'll go over to the panel or to the panel presentations. I'll let you present yourself with the proper pronunciation of your name and job.
Thank you very much, Christine. So I'm very pleased to join this side event to talk about the water and energy governance, and especially for governance. I'm from International Center on Small Hydropower, where it's located in China, in Hangzhou. But that is international center. It's very closely cooperate with United Nations, especially UNIDO. So our activities is not just in China, but also all over the world. So, but of course, since China has experienced of small hydropower development in the last decades, so I would also like to share with you about the governance, how small hydropower development in the country. So since the 1950s, in that time, we can say China is still facing a lot of problem to the access to electricity, especially for rural area. So, but since the 1970s and 1980s, we launched some programs. For example, that is a rural electrification program. by the Ministry of Water Resources. So that gives a priority for electricity development in rural area, especially for small hydropower in the rural counties. So that is called Rural Electrification Counties Program. And after that, it is very success, and also we try to solve the problem in the very remote areas, in rural areas. So through use send electricity to the villages. So that is for some very, very far away the places. So they couldn't access. They are still very poor, very poor. So how can they use the electricity to solve the problem? So that is the government also pay high attention and deliver a program. So that is send the electricity. That means the government pays a high investment and then to do it for that. And after that, there's another thing is because we all of us now we're really concerned about the climate change and also environment protection. Since for some upstreams of the rivers, especially in rural areas, so they cut the wood and plants for burning for their cooking. So that is from the country level and of course implemented in each province of the country. So they use instead through electricity or small hydropower instead of wood program. So this is and also is give a very good opportunities for the rural area to develop their electricity. So that is the program is also very meaningful and also plays very important role. And especially since year 1980s, so that is the government encourage the private be involved for the private and especially investment from private to the small hydropower development. So that is also very new, That is not only mainly depends on the government, but also there are a lot of encouragement for the private to be involved. So that is through this program, and after that, especially from year 2000, the main investment for the small hydropower are from private, not from government. So that is we can say the small hydropower plays a very, very important role in the country, and from 1980s. The electricity access to, especially for rural area, is only 40% or 45% somehow. But now we can say it is almost 100%. So that we can say is this really way through the good governance and to encourage private to be involved and also share with the international experiences, then solve the problem in rural area. So that is why after decades practices, so we already have, in the country, 45,000 small hydropower stations in the country. And the hydropower in China is about 22 to 23% of the total electricity supply. And small hydropower is about 25% of the hydropower. So that means for the total electricity supply, small hydropower takes place on about 7 to 8% of total electricity. But more important is the small hydropower is located in remote and rural area. So that's in China we have 50% of the territory land and about 1/3 of the counties. That means 800 counties and 300 million people, mainly based on small hydropower. So small hydropower, since we, through the small hydropower, we can provide more electricity, more energy, so reduce the cutting of the plants, and also reducing the fossil thermal electricity. So that is really good to contribute to climate change, and especially for CO2 emission. So that is the case. That's why now we work very closely with the UN system, especially for UNIDO. So work together and to promote the small hydropower worldwide. And we also collaborate with our counterparts worldwide, including France and European countries. Now, we have one program. It's under the China and European water platform. There's especially with rural field, including small hydropower. So that is, we can keep communication and contacting, especially technology exchange, and can provide clean and technology-friendly and environment-friendly, and also it's easily and relative to others, maybe also low investment to the developing countries. So I hope, for this water and energy and governance, the small hydropower is the case. But of course, when we talk about the hydropower or large hydropower, you can see that in front of that is the China Three Gorges Corporation. So we also have the largest, hydropower in the world. That's from China. So that we can say hydropower is a really good example. No matter large or small, it's just a focal point for the water and energy, because they can both can just mix and also especially to contribute for climate change. That I hope we can work together in the future. And not only, for us, for developed countries like France and other countries, no problem. But for developing countries like African countries, we have African friends here. So currently we have a program called Lighting Up Rural Africa. So that we work with our African counterparts. So that is to try to provide some pilot pilot project there, and to show this small hydropower could be benefited to the African friends, but also to the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I have one technical question and one governance question. The technical question is, small hydropower means something very different to Europeans quite often than to Chinese. So just define what small hydropower is. And the other, I'll give the second one. The side event and your presentation being about governance, is there a concrete governance of the money or the benefits or between the stakeholders? Just these two.
Yeah. Okay, regarding the technical issues about small hydropower, it is small in China, we call it 50 megawatts and below. So that is, but of course, in the last years, we worked together with UNIDO. We also to develop a World Small Hydropower Development Report. And we try to combine for each country what's the difference. So most countries use small hydropower as 10 megawatts and below. But for some countries like China, USA, and Pakistan, India, some countries, use different. There are some, it's 25 megawatts, but the maximum for small hydropower is 50 megawatts, that's including China. So that's one thing. For governance, that's true. Because this is small hydropower, it is recognized as, we call it the water bank. Because when the generating the electricity, that is, when you invest there, you immediately can get the money from the bank. So, and of course, so that's why since the 1980s, so Chinese government encouraged private to be involved. Since that time, we have economic reform. So that is private companies really get benefit from the small hydro. And also now, Chinese the governance for the investment also changing. We also encourage foreign companies to buy the small hydropower in China, also to invest to there. If you can find a good point and find a good partner in the country, and then you're always welcome to get the benefit. But of course, we also, through the small hydropower development report, we also can find there's opportunities outside and everywhere to see how can we do it. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. There will be questions later to the panel, so I will, I think, directly pass to Claude now to speak.
Okay, I thought it was Martin first. Good evening, everybody. Bonsoir tout le monde. For me, this question of water, energy, and governance is mainly a journey in our company. This is a journey, and it began something like 10, 15 years ago, and it was very important. Loic mentioned that everybody is aware of that. I will be very happy if everybody is so aware that Loic is mentioning. For me, the raising of the awareness within the company about the importance of the linkage between water and energy was a journey, and this journey is not finished. For me, at the moment, it has three main steps. The first steps was, as I mentioned, 10 years, 15 years ago. Then suddenly we realized the importance of having an understanding, a true understanding of this connection between water and energy and water and electricity. This is about climate change, of course. This is about how we are dealing with the issue of sharing the water within the water basin, as certainly Martin will develop. But this is also how we are dealing with resilience of our facilities and our contribution to the resiliences of community. So for me, this first step has taken place by the beginning in WBCSD, where it was very easy to have linkages between cross-fertilization between sectors. And I do remember the first meeting where we have strong discussion with our friends of the water sector, with the utility sector, that we can do some work together. And this sort of side event is, for me, the result, and our commitment in this side event is a result of this dialogue. So this was three important things: the resilience, which means investment, which means engineering, but which means also understanding the consequences of climate change on our facilities, which means research and development on climate and meteorology that we are still working on. And it means also how we measure all that. And this was the last but not the least of the thing we realized when working internally on these topics, that we have to think about how to measure. This was our first step, and I was so happy that when by 2012 we were in Marseille, and suddenly I realized that there was a huge delegation of the company with the World Water Forum. That means that we have raised a very huge awareness within the company, so that we can go to commitments. And it was the first time we commit externally. So the second step for me was to go public. We go public with our commitments on water. There were three commitments. The first one was about we have to be part of the dialogue and reflection on water footprint. So the second one was about measurement of our own water footprint. And the third one was about taking into account the water within the building of new facilities, and thinking of something that will be much more developed today, which is how are we creating value around our facilities. This was the first commitment. And then we will have this commitment embedded in the commitment of the CSR commitment that we make also public some months later by our CEO in our shareholder meeting. So the second step was a step of commitment, which is strongly important in a company, because if you are doing so, you are making public the way you want to work on a topic. And for an electricity company, it was not that common to commit on water. And the third step was in Lyon. And like you mentioned it was how we must do it with others. We cannot do it by our own. We cannot do it. We are used to be first in class in EDF, good people always having solution. So we can bring the solution. And I think that in Lyon, we realized we cannot do it by our own. And that was so important. The third step, for me, is one of the most important for us, is to know that we will have, and we'll be back on that with the three projects we work today through. this project, which what is important is that they take much more time than if we are done by our own. But I think they will be much more better, and there will be more effect on the global view, because they will be shared, and they will not be done only by us, but with others and for others. And that makes a huge difference. So this is a journey, and this journey is not done. Today we have 3 projects. I think you can see in different side. Even this project will be presented. Christine presented one, Jan another, Laurent another, and the first project is of course about the water for energy footprint, and this is a complicated one because we have to do it with others, to share, to push, so that we are not alone, because if it's our solution, it will not be the good one. The other topic is not only for hydropower, it's done for hydropower and for water today, but I believe this is very important for every facility everywhere, which is about how are you measuring the value and the impact, positive and negative, of an infrastructure on a territory, on a community. This is not very easy. There is a lot of things that are done today, but I think this is just the beginning of how you can have a dialogue on the value you create in a... I often mention that in France, some of our elected the deputy member of parliament were visionaries in years ago, 50 years ago. They were visionary because they were thinking that a facility is not only done for one purpose, but it should be done to create value globally in a watershed. And I think this is maybe why the French Agency of Water are running that way. But this is the third one is about the governance of multi-purpose water facilities, and I believe this one is one of the most powerful because it embedded a lot of shareholder and in its stakeholder in it, and it will be, I think, delivering a lot of interesting conclusion on what does it mean to have governance. In my understanding, governance is not at one time. It will have to change around the long life of a facility, because if you just think that the need of the people, the climate will be the same from now and in 20 years, I think you are wrong, and you will have to change. And we learn that on the ground, and I think it will always be true.
Thank you, Claude. This has actually been a really good way of showing in front of Loïc Fauchon that from one World Water Forum to another, we've done quite a lot of things in EDF on a lot of projects. So basically, we've taken one World Water Forum to have an initiative, or basically a motivation to proclaim solutions, and we've done them. And so I was wondering, as a question, without wanting to create a formal commitment now, where do you see us in Brazil at the next World Water Forum?
I have no idea. I think that we will have to dig on the project, and I believe I really usually believe on the project of creating value. This one is very complicated, and I would love this one to be able to deliver something more understandable, easily usable for people. But I cannot say how we will be in Brazil. I'm sure that we will be a long way forward, but I don't know where.
Okay, we pass to this third speaker, Martin Guéperot. The floor is to you.
Thank you. Yes, I'm really happy to be here today and to testify that the commitments we made with Xavier Ursa, EDF, 3 years ago at Marseille, last forum, have been met. And in a really special way, we will see that today. The question is the relation between water and energy. I dare say that it's like quarreling children, that we have tried to get in just an alliance, as you said before. The point is for the natural point of view. I mean, as nature is gaining more and more interest in public opinions, in laws, we have to bring a better results on the status of the rivers where dams are. And my first point is that there is a tremendous amount of good projects for the environment to be done around dams. It's not because there is a dam that it's finished for nature, for the biodiversity, for the quality, for the value of the river. For example, we have invested in fish passes. We are really efficient. And at the time, France has equipped the rivers with the dams. Fishermen have been not really hurt, and fishes have left some rivers, and they can come back, and the results are really impressive. Yes, we have for specific species of fishes 6 times more fishes in Lyon, which is 300 kilometers from the sea, than 5 years ago. That's the result. We have, a tremendous amount. I said we have wetlands that can be improved around the dams. We have the way dams are operated can bring the gradient of water flowing from the dams. Has a huge impact on biomass, on the ability of the river to sustain life. And that's a thing we're working, for example, on the Rhône River, which has a huge ecological capacity, and so we want to reach today. We have other ideas connection between water table and river. So you see the amount of projects is really huge. The point is, we don't want to make every project, we just make progress today. We just want to show results. We just want to show that it's possible to have dams and a better natural environment around it. So that was the first point. Then how to work. The commitment was to build a special agreement, a special financial system to bring some incentive in the system. So what we've done, and the result is here today. As the water agency, we have, our job is to finance projects good for the environment, aimed at bringing the rivers to good status. That's the overall objective. And doing that, we have multiplied by 10 the amount of money we invest in projects good for the environment around dams, by 10. So how did we do that? First, thanks to a big new deal that happens in France, which is called Grenelle de l'environnement, we had an agreement decided at the highest level. The CEO of EDF was part of the agreement, which said on one side we will develop small hydropower, hydropower as a whole, but especially small hydropower. And on the other side, we will bring more value to the rivers, to the ecological status of the rivers. So how does it work? It works that first we take money from the utilities by tax, enforced by law. And we have to get to the highest level of commitments. So this money is taken first, and it's possible to have it back only for good projects. And the better wins. So the faster, the better is the winner. And that's why projects have soared. And we have many more projects today than we used to only 5 years ago. So this project, first, it's a financing system. Second, we decided to change the way we subsidize the good projects held by EDF, for example, or other utilities exactly the same. So we decided to go farther into the details of the economic curves of the of the price of electricity related to water figures, to technical figures, which means that we accepted as a public agency to look at the financial markets on electricity and to follow the exact demand and offer of electricity and the way the price is defined. That means that the subsidies we give, which is 50% of each project, so real incentive is better calculated and a lot more interesting for the companies. And for us, that was also a win-win project, because for us, we gave this money, but we gained some project holders we didn't have previous to this agreement. Now, thanks to what we've done with big utilities, we have some communities, public authorities, coming and holding some new projects in other fields. For example, part of the money we've taken from the utilities, we invest in local authorities project of continuity, which means let sediment flows into the rivers, going back in the holes, filling the holes that we can have in the river, which are really damageable to the overall quality of the river, and to let fishes passes. And in 2014 only, we've reached our objective, which was actually 150 threshold and dams cleared. And this objective is a compensation to the dams that still are operating. But the dams operating for electricity purpose represent only 5% of all the threshold and dams in rivers, which means that there is a huge ability to go somewhere else and to find solutions and to find everything to finance. So the first point was this huge amount. The second point was to find a system that is incentive enough to get these projects done. And the last thing is to have a scientific community. That's my third and last point, because it's not in every river that you find a scientific community able to say what exactly is useful for nature. Nature is complicated. Nature is not a matter of norms and regulations. So you have to go in a long process of research and defining what's really good. Research at EDF was part of the thing. For example, water temperature, transport of sediments. It's really a special interest of EDF, which was interesting for all the rivers as well. So we have tried to have this community, and in June, 22nd of June, in Lyon, we'll hold 3 days of a forum called IS Rivers, where the scientific communities of all the main rivers in especially developed countries gather to exchange around these subjects. And they were really interested in this new system we've built with EDF and with utilities. We've presented it in California, and the people of California will come to see more of what we've done here, which is for us very important to have built an international community on the main rivers on the special interest of gaining more and more value on the natural science and the biodiversity in rivers where dams are.
Thank you very much. So just before we pass to the video, I'll also ask you one question, obviously. The question is, your work has been extremely impressive. You've got priorities in place on 150 dams. You've got a scientific community started. You've got the financial scheme in place so that you could evaluate an appropriate tax and incentives. What's your timeline for working on those 150 dams and environmental projects? When will you?
I mean, we've got a timeline. I mean, we've defined in 2013, so 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, a timeline for the 5 coming years, which means that by 2018 we have listed all the dams we want to equip or clear if there's no use, equipped if there is use, and for fish or for sediments.